Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Untitled Chapter. I'm AJ Gels. Guys, we are back once more with the weekly show. If you're new to this program, basically what I do, I grab news from all over the place. This week, just from IGN, I was lazy and was not paying attention to Twitter, only my IGN app. So, either way, there really wasn't a lot of news this week. But back to what I was saying, like I said, if you're new to the program, basically what I do, I grab news from all over the place, bring it in, I read articles, I give my opinions on them. We'll watch videos. Right now we got something for Beyond Good and Evil 2, a game that I still don't fully understand, but either way, we'll figure that out along the way. Like I said, really not a lot of news that I found super interesting this week. Maybe just because I wasn't paying close enough attention or whatever. As always, if you find something that you'd like to hear maybe my thoughts about or anything, please feel free. Post links in the post links down in the comments. You can also tweet them at me, send them to me over Facebook, any other social media. All those are down in the description below. Feel free, shoot me a link, and I will put up a video and do something like that. But for today, we're going to be focusing on this video and these three articles. All not super important, but I found them interesting. So first we're going to start off with Beyond Good and Evil 2, why you'll need a crew and how to get one.
Hey there folks, Chris Waters here with the UB blog at E3, and I'm with Gab on the Beyond Good and Evil 2 team. Gab, one of the things everyone loves about Beyond Good and Evil 2 is the characters.
Absolutely. It's the heart and soul. The whole notion is, of course, as pirates, there's freedom and there's a big element of role-playing in the game. So we want to make sure that people can create their own characters. And you can be anything from a hybrid to a very hairy, small person. You actually have to move through the universe, and by encountering different characters, for instance, you might decide to attack a huge tanker and then find that they've got hybrid slaves inside the ship, and you might free them, and you might discover someone like Nox or another hybrid who might join your crew, and then you develop a relationship with them. You know, they're very authentic and they have real stories and histories, means that they're also going to have opinions. So if they don't like things that you do, then they might decide to just take a hike, and you'll have to find yourself other partners by exploring different areas of the space.
And you'll have some real estate opening up in your ship. And to talk about ships and vehicles, we're going to bring on Emil. Okay, Emil, the first vehicle we see in the trailer, I'm actually seeing up here on the wall, or some version of it.
Yeah.
And this is a 1 to 2 person kind of bike used for getting around city?
Exactly, it's very small vehicle at the beginning of the game. So this bike is already kind of cool. Maybe you have something that is not as cool as to start with.
You might even start a little smaller.
Exactly, and not smaller, but something that won't go as fast.
This sort of plays into the sense of scale you're trying to accomplish.
Totally. So there, you have this bike, and then you will probably evolve to the ship we see there. This is like a middle-sized vehicle. You can already start to have a crew on board a ship like this.
And it looks like this kind of ship, you'd be comfortable taking it up into the atmosphere, maybe into space.
Exactly. So you will have a lot of things to evolve, buy new equipments, and you will be able to add new weapons. And also the crew you have on board will improve like the statistics of your ship. So having the right crew on the right ship is like finding the perfect combination. So you will have to explore, travel on different planets to find the perfect crew members. And your crew members will reflect your experience and your journey in the game. And also your vehicle.
You guys are really making a rich, detailed world that you're putting a lot into. Emil, thanks so much for talking about vehicles and exploration, the crew. Beyond Good and Evil 2, folks, here. It's at E3, and it's looking good.
Okay, I stand by it. Just like the video that I showed last week. They are saying a lot of words without actually giving us any info. This is my biggest problem right now with Beyond Good and Evil 2. I want to see what this game's going to be like, but I cannot tell. Everything we're seeing from this game is, oh, well, look at this world we're building. Look at these cool characters. Well, okay, but is this game going to have, like, specific characters that, or is everything going to be randomized? Because I'm seeing a lot of random stuff. Are we going to see a lot of... It's very confusing to me. What is this game? Maybe it's especially because I didn't play the original Beyond Good and Evil, but I just don't see the fascinate. I want to be excited for this, and I want to be so interested, but they're not giving us anything. They're just giving us tiny little scraps of, here's this massive open world. You can go between planets at any time, and ooh, look at these hybrid animals, and here's the basic concept of the world. Cool, but what is the story about? Who is our main character? I mean, they've said that we can play it, that we can make our own character. Okay, well, what's the story behind that? Why are we making this character? Who are we in the world? What is our end goal? Or what do we think our end goal is? Because, you start a game and you think that you're going towards one ending, but then it turns out that, no, everything's been a lie or whatever. But that's my problem so far with Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's just, we know jack shit about this game so far, and they are not telling us anything. They keep putting out these videos, which, and I know a lot of people would say, well, then why am I covering this? It's just because this is something, and I promise I won't do this again next week if I have nothing new to say, because I kind of said this last week. But again, the problem is there's no new information. We're not being told anything. We're getting scraps. We aren't getting actual info, and that really bothers me. All right, moving on. Now kind of do a little bit of a fluff story, just because I love trophies and all this, and I can't believe this is the name of a game. It's like 5-star 1,000 top rate. Alrighty then. The Sony pulls down game claiming to offer world's fastest platinum trophy, priced at just under $1. Article by Alex Gilyadev of IGN. Sony has decided to take down a game that was claimed to contain the fastest platinum trophy ever made. Eurogamer reports Sony quickly pulled the indie game titled 5-star 1000 top rated from PSN and asked the developer to change the game's name and remove any mention of trophies. For the love of God, thank you for making them change that name. The platinum trophy reportedly could have been earned in 20 minutes, as it only consisted of easy, interactive, what the hell is wrong with me? Interactive tile puzzles made out of 4K wallpapers. Additionally, the game is priced at just 98 cents. Apparently, 5-star 1000 top rated was created to advertise the developer's Facebook page, which sells a bunch of PS4 themes. A PSN game with a similarly easily platinum trophy, My Name is Mao, which can be earned by pressing X 10,000 times. In other Sony-related news, the company is now taking public pitches for its next PlayStation TV show. That is true. If anybody saw Powers, that was a pretty good show. The thing that I've always kind of liked about Sony is there's not really a lot of junk on the PlayStation Store. I haven't noticed a lot of junk over on the Xbox Marketplace, but I don't use that as much as I use the PlayStation Store. But this is really dangerous, because this kind of shit is this is iPhone App Store games. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some decently fun free App Store games or whatever, but I mean, this is stuff that it's why there's so much crap on the App Store. It's because they just pretty much let anybody put up anything. Now, somebody correct me if that's not true, but I mean, as far as I understand it, that's pretty much what the App Store is. And I like how Sony kind of has a standard, and I'm glad Sony's pulling this, and it's just I don't know. Like I said, this is just a kind of a fluff thing that I like the name of the game, and anything to mention My Name is Mayo. Okay, now on to some actual serious stuff. BioWare shoots down Mass Effect Andromeda DLC cancellation rumors, but no single-player DLC reportedly planned. Son of a bitch. Are also by Alex Gilyadev, IGN. BioWare and EA have denied the claims of a company saying Mass Effect Andromeda DLC it has been working on was canceled. However, more recent reports suggest that despite this false claim, there is no single-player DLC planned for the game. PC Gamer reports these DLC cancellation rumors first started with a now-deleted Facebook message captured by Critical Hit from a developer called Sinclair Networks, in which the studio claimed it's no longer working with BioWare on 3 pieces of planned Andromeda DLC content. Sinclair's Networks post said that due to EA recently reportedly putting Mass Effect on hiatus, the publisher has decided not to waste any further resources on new content for Andromeda. Instead, the focus is supposedly now only on developing Anthem, BioWare's upcoming latest RPG. A representative from EA confirmed to IGN that, and I quote, "We have never worked with Sinclair Networks, and they had nothing to do with the development of Mass Effect Andromeda," end quote. Members of BioWare also shut down these cancellation rumors. Producer Fernando Melo took to Twitter to confirm BioWare doesn't, and I quote, "hire fake companies," end quote, to work on DLC and patches, while producer Mike Gamble tweeted his, and I quote, "never heard of Sinclair Networks ever," end quote. A report from Kotaku, however, posted following EA's denouncement of Sinclair's false post claims that separate the Sinclair statement from sources told Kotaku that Andromeda will not see any single-player DLC. When asked for comment regarding the new report, a representative for EA told IGN the company has nothing to announce about DLC at this time. Previous post-launch reports about the game have suggested that at one point Andromeda development reportedly included a No Man's Sky-like procedural generation system for its worlds. For more on blah 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 blah. That's interesting. So I hadn't heard that. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that procedural generate, and I hear No Man's Sky. And again, this is just like with Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think I said this last week, and also during E3. Like alarm bells are going off in my head, going uh-oh. But right now, I think it's a horrible decision not to do any single-player DLC for the game. Also, I don't understand what DLC you'd be doing other than just messing around with the multiplayer, but that still doesn't make any sense to me, because to me, Mass Effect is and always will be a single-player game. Yes, the multiplayer is there, and I think Andromeda it works. It's actually kind of fun, but overall, the game is a single-player game. I do not understand why they would only do multiplayer DLC and not single-player. And like I said, it's reportedly planned, so maybe it is in the works. I'm just being entirely fair. This is not me saying it is in the works. This is me saying, as far as the reports go, there is no single player DLC. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have anybody in Bethesda or not Bethesda. What the fuck is wrong with me? Anyone in BioWare that I'm talking to that I would know. But this is all just me going. The word reportedly is a big kind of weasel word's not the right word, not the right term, but it basically kind of gives you some wiggle room here, because we could see DLC for it in the future. Like I said, but I would not be holding your breath. I just find it weird that they wouldn't do it. I'm probably making no sense right now. Yeah, but generally, I think it's a bad move on BioWare's part not to put out any single player DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda, even though, granted, it was not as well received as they'd like, and I understand them putting it on hiatus, especially to work on Anthem, but come on, you gotta put out some single player DLC for this. It's just, that just seems like a horrible move. Yeah, although I guess maybe it's just the concept of let the ship sink, and we're just gonna focus on Anthem, so, I guess. Oh, well. Like I said, if I was them, I would definitely want to put out something for Mass Effect Andromeda. Moving on, this is a game that I have never heard of, or maybe I've heard of and I've just not really paid attention to it. But kind of reading through this article, I'm actually really kind of caught my attention. This is Kingdom Come Deliverance. This is an article about a hands-on time with it, written by Dan Stapleton. Article reads, with no magic, no elves, and not even a King Arthur, Kingdom Come Deliverance is aiming for a grounded and realistic approach to open-world medieval role-playing games. Oddly enough, that makes this February 2018 RPG feel distinctive next to the likes of Elder Scrolls and The Witcher. Developer Warhorse Studios, what's wrong with me, says that aside from the personal story of your character, Harry, the events of a civil war in the Kingdom of Bohemia in the year 1403 are historically accurate. As you set out to avenge the death of your parents, who were killed in a raid on a village that actually happened, you join the service of a lord and play a role in the outcome of the war, which is, of course, fixed. See here, Warhorse says a big focus is on allowing you to find alternate ways through a situation if you failed the first big skill check. The early example I got to play was being sent by Harry's blacksmith father to buy some charcoal. The simple job takes you to confront the town drunk for payment for tools your father made for him in order to pay for the charcoal. If you have high enough speech stats and reputation, you'll be able to convince him to pay. But if you don't, you'll have to think of another way to get the cash. I tried to beat him up and take it, but that didn't go so well. Kingdom Come's complex combat system is no joke. There are 6 different angles of attack and defense, and an interesting stamina bar that acts as both energy for attacks and blocks, and as a shield for your health. That'll take some time to master. Instead, you can win the money gambling in a dice game or go running back to your father for help. But I tried to steal the tools back, but I was spotted by the town guard and chased down and thrown in jail. I never even got to the point where you throw poop at a guy's house. Yes, this can't happen. So I spent my last few minutes playing the combat training scenarios, which let you get the hang of swordplay with light or heavy armor against single or multiple opponents in a big brawl. And Deliverance has such a heavy focus on realism that equipping heavy armor means you are a walking tank, but you can barely see a thing. It's definitely tough to get a handle on how a big RPG like this will play from the first handful of minutes, but it's definitely like no other game I've played. Like I said, that's Dan Stapleton, the executive editor of reviews over at IGN. We're going to check out some of these videos. I actually haven't seen these, so we'll watch these. I'll comment as we go and have some fun. It's going to be an advertisement, isn't it? Oh, that's not fun. Oh, come on. Well, this is great. Because nothing like watching Power Rangers. Let's see if we can get this one rolling.
You are the Power Ranger.
There we go. This one's working. This one's all fucked up, but there we go.
Welcome back to IGN Live at E3. I'm Damon Hatfield. I'm here with Toby.
Hello, hello.
Hello. We're going to take a look at a little bit of an unusual RPG that's coming out next year. This is Kingdom Come Deliverance, and it's a very unique take on the RPG genre because it's not a fantasy game. This is actually a historically set, real-world history set RPG. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's what we try. We want to bring a game that brings you back in the early 15th century of Central Europe. So, as you said, we try to create a game that is it's an open-world RPG that is realistic and historically accurate. Of course, it's not a medieval simulations, it's just a video game, so we have compromises here and there, but still we believe that's the most realistic you can get.
So, to the best of your ability, you're trying to recreate, it's set in Bohemia, is that right?
Exactly, today's Czech Republic, right.
Okay. So that means everything from trying to recreate accurately the clothing of the time, the weaponry, the art, the music, all of that, right?
Exactly, and actually before we wrote the first code, we had to do a lot of research. So the good thing about Kingdom Come is that it's around 50 kilometers or 30 miles south of our studio. We are located in Prague, in the Czech Republic. So we visited the places, we saw the castles, the churches. We could take places, we even took places of vegetation to recreate this entire setting to make it look as realistic as possible. Sometimes it's hard because the stuff is destroyed. It's 700 years old, 600 years old. But we even have a full-time historian in our team who helps us to rebuild these things.
Okay, so we're looking at the game here. Obviously, from a first-person perspective, is that through the whole game, or can you switch to third person?
Exactly. You will be in Kingdom Come Deliverance. You will be only playing as a single player and first person. So what we tried to do is to have a very immersive game, and we decided that it's best when you see it through your own eyes. Sometimes, as you see in the dialogues, you will switch out so you can see yourself, but mostly you will be, or always you will be in this first-person mode. Yeah, but we said realistic, but it's also historically accurate. So what we see right now is something like a codex, or well, it is a codex.
Sure.
And for those who are interested in history, we have those. It gives you back. It gives you information about the game, about the NPCs, because all of the buildings, castles, places you will meet actually existed back then or are still existing. Most of the NPCs you will meet are real historical.
real people.
Exactly.
Wow.
And if you're interested, like in the history of those, you can read it in our internal codex thing. But if you're not interested at all, just grab the sword and go fighting.
Okay, you can just get straight to the killing.
Exactly,
Right to it.
straight to the killing.
So is this, where are we here? Is this where we start out in the game?
Exactly, this is called Silver Scalus. It's a silver mining city, and you are playing Henry, the son of a blacksmith, and that's your hometown. So what we see right now is something like a tutorial space where you pretty much can't die, but it introduces you to most of the core features. However, what we see right now is a quest or a dialogue with a guy, and it introduces you to the fact that in Kingdom Come Deliverance, when you have a quest, there are several options how you can solve it. There's no linear way. Well, sometimes, of course, there's a fetch quest or something,
Sure.
but right now we see we can either try to persuade this guy or we can try to go into a fight with him. And if we lose or win, it will change the outcome of the quest. Because then, if you win, he will give you money. That's what you want from him. If you lose, you need to find another idea how to get the stuff. So if you come to a dead end, it says fail. It doesn't mean that you failed the quest per se. It just means that you need to come up with a workaround, find another way, try something different. But you only have one choice.
This is one way.
You only have one choice. So if there's a dialogue and there's like 3 options or something, you need to choose wisely which one you want to pick and then deal with the consequences.
Okay.
So if you said, give me the money or I will beat you, but this guy's, you know that he's like the local fighter and drinker, well, then he says, okay, then let's come and fight. And then you have to deal with that.
Well, tell us about that combat system. It's first person as well.
Exactly. What we saw right now was the fist fight. That's pretty straightforward, just
Sure.
kicking and punching. But more interesting, it will be more interesting when we add the weapons, because maybe you saw this like this rose in the middle. It's like 5 different ways from where you can attack. So you can attack the head, shoulder left, right, bottom left, right, and then a little bit like Tekken, you can combine those hits. So it's easy to swing like one swing after the other or stab, but if you combine those, if you are more tricky into that, if you have like the right combination, you can do deadly combos, throw him on the ground, slash him through the face, and stuff like this.
And then can you dual wield weapons?
No, you can't
Okay.
dual wield weapons.
tough.
That's the same problem. But you will have the weaponry of the medieval area. So we have from halberds to the double-handers to short sword, shield, different bows and arrows and stuff like this. So you will find this. And if you don't, and that's something I really want to point out. Kingdom Come Deliverance is not about fighting per se. It's just an option for those who wish to fight. You can, not entirely, but you can pretty much solve this game without violence or without killing anyone. Violence is like, fist fight is also violence, but
Sure.
you can try to avoid fighting at all. And for example, there will be a quest, and we will see this later as well, where there's a big skirmish happening in the end of the quest. But this skirmish is only happening if you decided several things beforehand in the questing, because there's this bandit lord in the forest, and you know that your lord is going to send you there to kill them with a small army, and you have the chance to go there beforehand. Tell this guy, listen, go away, we are coming and we will kill you. Rather hide. He will maybe thank you, he will maybe go, he will maybe encounter you or something like this. But your lord will be mad at you because he was like, he's an outlaw, right?
Yeah,
and he wants
sure.
to get him, but you solved the quest without violence. Right, so this is something
Interesting.
you might encounter.
All right, so we're Henry.
Yes.
Is this what Henry looks like in the game, or are we able to customize our appearance?
Henry will have a given face, so you're playing this particular person, but it's less about his appearance, it's more about his character. So in Kingdom Come Deliverance, it's similar like the Skyrim system, kind of, the RPG elements. What I mean is that you're only leveling what you're doing. So if you want to be like the violent guy and do the fighting and fight with a mace, for example, then you will only get better at mace fighting. But if you do like the speech stuff, more the talking, then you will be better at the diplomacy skills, and then you can go through the quests without killing someone. So it's more about the character you're building, less about the look. And then you have an armor, of course. So you have a 14-slot system for your armor, different layers which you can put over each other, from soft materials to hard full plate armor, for example, and then you customize your own armor, because every zone is then protected separately with the particular fabric you are wearing.
Sure. Yeah, it's an interesting system. So Henry's kind of a blank slate, and players have their own play styles. So just naturally, by playing the game the way that they normally would, they end up sort of sending Henry down that path and leveling up the skills that the player prefers. Is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what I like and what I think is interesting is that the skirmish thing I talked about earlier, it might happen that I'm telling you about my experience, say, this skirmish was so crazy I almost died. And you might say, like, which skirmish? I've never saw that. Because you did something completely different beforehand. So this is something what I think is pretty interesting. What we see right now is a funny quest where you throw some manure at the German guy and his house, because we are talking about a story that really happened. So this is based on true story. Not the manure thing necessarily, but the setting, I mean. So there's a political problem. The king of Hungary is attacking the king of Bohemia. The Germans inside Bohemia support the invading king. The Bohemians, of course, they hate him. And this will break out in a huge civil war in which you get torn in. So that's like the political frame there and the situation we talk about. This fist fight here, another thing. A little bit earlier, those friends of us asked us, let's go and throw that manure at the house of the German guy. And you can say, I will help you, or I won't help you. If you won't help them, they will go alone and do the stuff alone. And you can watch them, you will see them, how they do the stuff. And you can even re-enter the quest if you want. You will come there, will say, did you change your mind? You say yes or no, and then you can re-enter the thing. It's important to know that the game is not built around you, but you are part of the game. So Henry or you will never become a lord, a king, or a ruler or something. You're just a commoner, and you stay a commoner, but you will pull some strings, and you will have an important role. However, you don't change history. Like the historical things needs to happen, castles needs to be sieged and stuff like this, but you explain how you get there or how this happened with your eyes, with your story pretty much.
Interesting. We're just about out of time. It's a totally unique angle on an RPG to me to have it give it a historical setting, not a fantasy world. But I wonder, anytime you put a game on PC, do you consider the possibility that the modding community could add dragons to it if they want to?
Well, actually, Warhorse Studios haven't released the game yet, but the people who work at our company have very, very good experience with the modding community, and we as well want to support them. So after the release of Kingdom Come Deliverance, we are thinking about a way how to attract the modding community, how to interact with them, how to work with them. And of course, if you want that T-Rex in medieval Bohemia, then you have to try and create it for us.
That's true. Cool. Kingdom Come Deliverance is out February 13th, 2018.
Exactly. One day before Valentine's Day. So make your wife buy you that Valentine gift.
Happy Valentine's Day, honey.
That's 7 days before my birthday. Yay me. No, it looks really interesting. I like the setting. The combat looks like that's going to take some getting used to, just because it looks kind of like a first-person version of what we were doing in For Honor. But yeah, I mean, it's weird to see a really kind of like it looks like there's going to be a lot of depth in this, as far as skills go and as far as armor and everything. It's very Elder Scrolls in my opinion, just set in more of a historical setting and not a fantasy setting. It is also really interesting to see this whole it's not about making your own history, it's kind of explaining how we get to certain points. I find that's kind of cool, because usually it's always it seems like this one's like all paths are going to lead to kind of the same ending, but it's just going to be there's different ways to get there. But usually, as opposed to the whole, there's 4 or 5 endings. Well, this one, it looks like there's one ending, but it's just differently how it changes how you get there. I think this game's got it's its own unique kind of flair to the typical RPG sort of thing. Let's check this video. How long is this one? It's about 7 minutes.
I'm Megan Sullivan. I'm here with Toby Stoltz from Warhorse Studios, and we are about to jump into an epic battle in Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Well, hopefully epic, because I'm still not sure if we will win, because winning and losing the battle is a valid option. So you don't need to actually win. Well, if you die, then you die. Then it's game over, of course. But this battle can be won or lost, lose, because those guys we see here are your soldiers, which, well, you don't lead them. You're just one of them. There's the captains in front and shouting what the people are about to do. And if you don't do anything, and you can just watch them fight, everything can happen. Either they can lose, they can win, and losing is a valid option, as I said. The story will just branch out. You don't need to, but you can have your impact on that. You see, like, those archers are really shooting, and they're really physically shooting the arrows there. So if we stand somewhere, we can get hit by an arrow and just die. So this can happen, and what we are now about to see is we are approaching the battle side. So what we are doing, this is a bandit camp here. We went through the quest and saw that here are the bad guys hiding, and this is our first idea of the larger scale battle. So you see a big brawl, everyone fighting against each other. It's extremely hard to understand who's friend and who's foe. The humans are these guys. They're easy to detect because don't mind that the build is broken a bit, so the fighting is not totally 100%
This is an early build of the game,
Yes.
but we get an idea of the different types of armor.
So you see that those are really
I think that's important to notice, because I keep looking at this going, this game looks like a 360 game at best. The movement's really fluid. Like, you could see it in the fist fight in the last video. The movement is very fluid and everything, but when you're looking at all these other character models, they are so stiff and so just so robotic-like. Mix that with there's frame rate and everything. It looks like there's also like a fog or like a film over the screen. I don't know if anybody else is kind of catching that. Everything just kind of looks murky.
easy to detect, but then we have bandits here, like this guy, for example. I know that it's one of him, but he looks like a regular guy, and that's like exactly something like it happened back then. So if you were in the battle, it was hard to detect who's friend, who's foe. They had different types of weapons, mostly, or different types of clothes, so you can detect who's who. Whoop,
Oh, you made this guy angry.
Yes, I made this guy angry. And oh, he is attacking me. And you see that either I woke him up somehow, of course, the guy before, but this guy here is just randomly attacking me, and he's like already injured. That's good, and now he's dead. So you can either attack someone directly, or you can get, of course, attacked by someone. And the thing is that the AI, your AI can team up, your partners can team up and kill them one by one, but the enemies can do the same. So it can happen that a group of 5 people is chasing you. This is totally random, so really the outcome of the game can be, in my experience of this battle, can be totally different than yours. What is about to happen here, again, please don't mind that they're just standing and waiting right now. What is supposed to happen here is, here on the top of the mountain is this is an abandoned village because of the war which is going on here in sneaking level.
Good job.
There's an abandoned village, and here on the top, the arrows are flying. Did you saw that?
Yeah, I did.
So
I
these
saw
humans are shooting, but hopefully not at us, even though he looks bad. Let's hide a bit. This is an abandoned village, and here on the top is the bad boy, the bandit troop leader called Runt, and Runt is hiding in this.
I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the after the last video, but I really like the concept, how it is kind of like Skyrim, where you get better at certain actions by using the actions. You get better at sneaking by sneaking. You get better at fighting with a sword by fighting with a sword, bows, all that. I really like that concept. That's it's something you don't really see a lot in games. I kind of wish you did.
What is supposed to happen here is, once your guys killed everyone, or you are part of that, of course. If you killed everyone here of the bad guys, your soldiers are supposed to push this bandwagon aside, and behind this bandwagon there are the humans, and this will be the first part of the story, because the humans are a very they're an oriental tribe from the east, something like the Mongols, and you will understand here for the first time that the humans, which King Sigismund used as a mercenary army, are somehow connected to the local bandits in Bohemia, and they are somehow collaborating to attack and raid Bohemia, and this will be one of the first moments where you understand this cooperation between those guys. So as I said, once they push the wagon aside and everyone get killed, your guys will storm this fortified church, and because they are preparing for castle sieges and they're preparing for attacks down in the world of Kingdom Come, they have letters here, they have a battery ram and everything. So the good thing is, your guys would come, they would take the letters, they would throw it against the wall. You can then wait until they climb over it and then open the door, like breaking the door, or you can be the one who's climbing the walls first and opening the door. You can go inside and fight against Runt, against the bad guy, or you can just sit here and wait because your guys will do the same. And this is pretty much the core of Kingdom Come. The game never waits for you and nothing. That means if someone approaches you and tells you, let's fight those bandits right now in this forest, and you decide not to go, the game or this NPC guy will not wait somewhere with a big question mark on his head. He will go there himself. Either he will get killed or he will get captured. It will have some outcome on the story. Maybe you have some new quests. Maybe some other quests will be locked. So everything you do in this game should call some kind of reaction. And if you do nothing, this also should call a reaction. So as I said, this battle can either be win or lost. If you don't do nothing, your guys can win, your guys can lose. And this is a bit of a random stuff. But of course, you can have your impact, you should have your impact, you can try to be in the middle of the... Let's try it again. General is something, we could now loot him and take the mace and the shield here, for example. Inside, you can wait somewhere, you can not be too... flank you, attack you from different...
They're not really saying anything new. Alright, let's check out this last one. Let's see how long we've been running. But, okay, we still got some time. I don't like this to run extremely long. Is this okay? More VR games. If you know my opinion on VR, ugh. They just don't look real. They just don't look right to me. I don't know. It's like looking at those like floating hands. They never look like they control like real hands. I don't know. It's I still need to get I really need to try one of these things. Not really. $5.98.
And I'm here with Toby Stoltz from Warhorse Studios. We are playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, and today we're going to look at the user interface, some cool menu tabs. We're going to talk about horses and RPGs, because there's some cool RPG stuff that you can do with horses in this game. So let's jump right
Level up your
into the
horse.
user interface.
Yes, welcome to Fun with Horses. So, this is our inventory, our user interface. Please don't mind that a lot of things are not totally perfect yet. We are working on it as we speak. But this is your inventory, and you will have different inventory, player stats, horse stats, quest logs, maps, and stuff like this. And you will have sub-chapters for everything. So, for example, in the inventory, of course, you can use weapons, armor, food, quest items, and bandages, like other lockpicks, money, and stuff like this. But then you have your player menu. And here you can see that it's still, even though we try to be realistic and historically accurate and stuff, still we are an RPG, right? And in RPGs, you level somehow. Looting and leveling, that's what you can do in Kingdom Come as well. And you have we have different stats and perks here. And we already said in the previous videos, if you saw them, that we level things by using them. So if you use, for example, here strength and agility are both, let's say, fighting skills, where the more you have strength or agility based weapons. So if the more you use them, the better you will, the more stronger you get, the more agility you will get. So by using something, you will level those particular skills. For example, the speech, we already saw that in the previous videos, that since we talk to people and the deeper we dig inside, the more effort it took us, the more we had to bribe, the more we had to haggle, the more we had to intimidate and do this kind of stuff, the better you will get there. And we are introducing in the beta, it's not working yet, I just want to show you that what the idea is that we want to introduce perks, which is here, for example, right now, those 4 types. And those perks, we will have tons of perks for every single, let's say, thing you can have in the game, but we want that in the end of the game you will not be able to use them all, or like more like you have to really decide which skill tree, which way you want to play, and according to that style you will unlock perks. So technically you could have them all, but practically when you play the game in one playthrough you will not be able to unlock them all. So you have to take care. Those 4 perks here, for example, in the speech skill, are bound to haggling. So as a perk, you might know, of course, they are something like permanent boosts in something. So those 4 here, for example, increase merchants' tolerance towards buying stolen items from you. Of course, stolen items. You can't sell them in the village. You are stealing them. So, but we will have a tolerance. So the farther you are away from the place you stole those items, the less the merchant will recognize those items. And if you try to sell common stuff, like, I don't know, a line insert, it will be relatively easy. But if you try to sell a signed ring or something like this, it's like a very particular thing. Everyone will recognize. This will be extremely hard. So these are levelable skills, but we also have something that is not levelable, but that's a combination of numbers, let's say. Because, for example, we have, let's say, the visibility, conspicuousness, noise, and these kind of stuff you see, 50%, 61%, 70%, it takes into account what type of armor you're wearing. So if you have, let's say, a rustling full plate armor, which is like super good in defense and everything, then you are extremely noisy because it rustles, so it's like when you run around, everyone will hear that. You are very visible, it's shiny, it's a bright thing, and but you will be less
into somebody's house in a full plate of armor.
Exactly. It will also raise conspicuousness because the people will say, like, what the hell? Why is he? Why is a full plate armor guy walking around? On the other hand, if you have, for example, you can loot even the bad guys, and you can. The bad guys in our game are a nomadic tribe from the Far East, from Asia. They're called Cumans, and the Cumans look extremely, let's say, exotic. They have full plate face mask with mustaches and something like that. We can kill them and loot them, and we can take all their armor and look like them. And then we have conspicuousness 100%. People will be extremely afraid when we enter the villages. Maybe they will immediately attack us. So these kind of stuff is in the game as well. And visibility and noise are both stealth skills.
Using that logic, does that mean that you can then use, like, say you could dress like the enemy and sneak into their camp and they won't notice you? Is that, I don't know, just a thought.
Stealth things that will take into account how visible you are, if the people will see you, if you're sneaking and stuff like this. And yeah, stamina or health is something that is not levelable. Everyone will have the same health amount on the entire planet, on the entire world, but it's the armor that keeps you alive. So the better your armor is, the more health you will have, and the stamina is something you can level. So stamina is something you need for blocking, attacking. It prevents you from critical hits and stuff like this, but every single blow, every single defense move you do will cost you stamina, like imagine it like in the Dark Souls games, for example. And if you run out of stamina, you cannot attack, you cannot block, and you're open for critical hits. The stamina is directly, we see that here on the bottom, the red lines and the yellow lines, they are directly bound to each other. So the more energy you will lose, the less maximum stamina you will have, because they are connected. Just imagine you are in a street fight. The more hits you will get, the less you can fight back, because you are tired, you are injured, and there's something we want to bring up in the game. And we see it started to rain, bad time to go out.
And pick a fight. So can you recover, how long does it take to recover stamina?
Like relatively fast here. Again, we try to be realistic, but then we try to be a game as well. So I always say, like, our battles are a bit like a Muhammad Ali box fight, where fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So it's like walk around your opponent, slash him, step back, breathe, then attack again. So it's like it's really fast. The stamina will get back relatively fast, but it's a stamina management you need to keep an eye on in battle.
So we got to combat. We've got weapon bow,
yes.
Weapon sword.
Okay, yes, because right now we have just weapon and bow with us, and you can, well, you will not be a super fighter from the beginning of the game. You will unlock the more you use the sword, for example. We don't have like the offensive skill, like you are using the axe, so you will be automatically better at bow shooting. You will have to shoot the bow to get better at bow shooting, or you have to shoot wield the sword to get better at sword fighting. And once you do that, it's still an RPG, right? You will be able to unlock, for example, here new moves, new skills, new animation sets. You can meet sword teachers in the world who will tell you more about sword fighting. So you will progress while using it, and you will progress while learning it.
That's
and
cool.
The funny thing is, we will also already, we are thinking of, and we will have that in the game, we will have a reading skill, because we need Henry to be able to read, but our historian, our full-time historian we had in our game said, no way, a regular.
Most people didn't read.
Yes,
back then,
exactly.
only the
No
elite.
way Henry, the son of a blacksmith, was able to read. So we need to, if we can't explain it in a realistic way or like in a historical accurate way, we try to make it at least somehow believable. So of course there will be a big monastery in the game. Henry will enter it. Henry will go become pretty much a monk, let's say. He will try to learn the reading there. And the funny thing is, when you open a book, it's not like you will see letters there. You will see all the letters which are used to write the text you're about to read, but they will be totally scrambled. And that's really funny, that like you have the real text in front of you, but you can't read anything because all the letters are somewhere, and
that reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy X, I think it was. I cannot remember the name of the name of the language, but you find these like little like sphere things throughout the world that unlock that basically give you a way to understand this other language in this game. So when you're talking to these characters who speak this language, it'll be showing their text, but in certain letters will be pink because that's what it is in English or the common tongue or whatever that we can understand. That's an interesting concept that I've really not seen a lot in games. Very, very cool that they're bringing this back, and I like the whole like monastery monk thing. That's cool.
better you get at reading, let's say, the more this makes sense. And it's not like in many games where you just click X and then you read the book finished. You really have to read this page or those 2 pages or something like this to get the information out of it. And the better, even though you're just...
That annoys me because I'm lazy.
A bit skilled or a bit skilled in reading, then you can at least get the idea of what's written there, and that's what we want to transfer into.
And what is it? What is that? Is that under skills, or because I see
it's not there right now? That's something
right there,
we will have for the final game.
And then if we go to skills, we got alchemy, defense, fencing,
exactly.
horse whispering.
Horse whispering, of course. So you have the horsey is another chapter we have here. The horse works as a movable, portable equipment storage system. So see how the...
And it looks like he actually has some RPG features as well.
Exactly. Oh, sorry. The horse has also RPG features, so strength, agility, vitality, courage. How fast it will run away when you get attacked or something like this. So charisma 0. It's a not charismatic.
Oh no!
Not a nice horse. It's very offensive and rude horse. No, what I want to say is that we will have different types of horses in the game. So you have from a regular, I don't know, like a farming horse up to a war horse. So yes, so we'll have even the horses, like all the animals in the world, will have some kind of an RPG or AI system. Not in the way that they will level something, but they will be somehow smart.
Aww.
So the sheep, for example, is smart enough to have to keep in groups and do the herding, and the horse, for example, will have different stats like strength.
I want to level up a horse. I'm serious. I would spend hours just riding a horse around in a circle, just trying to level it up, just because it's horse leveling. It's hilarious.
You will can buy and get different horses. Horses were extremely expensive, so this is nothing like you can just buy and I have a new horse, so you need to take care of it. And it has also health, stamina, everything. So it acts like a NPC that you are using, and you can always whistle to it, like in the Witcher games, for example. You whistle,
and your horsey will come.
The horsey will come, and you can, as I said, it has equipment here. You can have, it has a saddle and pockets, and you could storage stuff in there, and he will carry it for you. So that's a very nice horsey, and so this is our cool horse in the game.
And so if we go back to Henry and his stats, when we've got skills, we've also got buffs.
Right now we don't have any buffs. We just restarted the game, so everything is like okay. But if you see on the bottom right, there is health, stamina, rest, and food. And rest and food are the small survival elements we have in the game. So we can have like positive buffs and we can have debuffs, of course. So there can be good stuff and bad stuff. And for example, if you don't eat, you can starve, you can get slower, you can even die of food.
Wow.
Of hunger. You can, if you don't rest, you can. Well, the funny thing is, if you're hungry, your stomach will give a noise, and Henry will say, "Oh, I should have eat something." the other way around, if you don't rest, if you don't sleep, the monitor will get blurry, your eyes will blink, so you can even faint and lie somewhere. Then you will wake up and you can pretty much die of hunger because you are
you fainted.
Fainted. So you should always keep something in your pocket, some food, which again can spoil. So if you take something like beef jerky, then that's good for long distances. But it's like maybe not so, like it won't help you so much in recovering energy. On the other side, if you have like, I don't know, a rusted duck or something, like really heavy food, this will help you a lot, but this will spoil pretty fast. So you need to take that in care. And I have a very funny anecdote. I was playing the combat against 5 opponents, and that's extremely hard that's like nearly impossible, but I won. But the fun thing is, like, I nearly died. I was like really, I was bleeding. I was like really injured, and I had food in my pocket, and it was radish, but it was spoiled radish. And I ate it, and I got food poisoned. So not the bandits killed me, but I poisoned myself with spoiled radish, which killed me then later. So that was like a very sad story of the end of the hero, because he died of spoiled radish.
Yeah, so make sure to at least have a piece of beef jerky with you
at
all times. And then we got reputation.
Yes.
And it looks like you've got a plus 43 reputation in Talmberg.
No, the plus means that you can have, this is, UI is broken, but this is like the particular, let's say, parties inside the villages, so they have shopkeepers and something like this, people there, important people. The plus always means that there is something you can unlock, like the perks, for example.
Okay.
Here, the lock picking, you have a small chance to break lock, blah, blah, blah. So you have all these kind of stuff. This just means that you can unlock some perks. And the reputation is something, everything good you do in the world will have a positive reputation on the village or the people living in there. But on the other hand, you can totally mess up. You can make Talmberg, for example, mad at you. They will attack you on sight if you're doing the bad stuff there. And every, like, the villagers are living in Talmberg. If you mess up with someone, this will affect the village reputation, like you see here, Talmberg 43, and the village reputation will affect the world reputation, and the other way around. So it's linked to each other. And if you do stuff in the world, villagers will know, people will know, rumors will spread. So this is the way how the reputation works, and we can see that hopefully even on the map. Yes, we can. Here you see the small symbol, smiley face. Talmberg likes us. So that's very good.
And then one more thing before we go, I noticed that there's also crafting. So I assume that you up your crafting skills, like you do anything in the game, is you just have to get better at it.
Exactly. We have a crafting system. Right now, it's the alchemy is the only which is implemented in the game, where you have again do something in order to get something. So in the alchemy works like that. You have to do the alchemy in your on a laboratory. So you can't do it in your pocket or in some kind of menu, like in games where you just click something and then you will have 100 potions. Here you have to really read the recipe book. You have to follow the steps, like take 2 fists of thistle, take 1 fist of nettle, boil it for 2 turns of the hourglass in the liquid, I don't know, liquor or wine or something like this. So you have to follow all these steps in order to get the final potion. So in the beginning we want you to make all those steps, like you have to manually do it. But we will offer you auto-cook later once you did it at least once right. But the recipe book will not tell you exactly what to do in the first place, so you'll have to discover a bit and read what is this type of herb. Is it a herb? Is it good against or strong against? And then you have to combine them in a smart way. It's always written in which way they are, with which liquid they are reacting, so you have to keep that in mind. Once you try it out, once it works, it will be written down in your recipe book, and then you can later auto-cook them whenever you want. And you see, it's very dark right now. It's night and it's raining, so this guy is not running away from me, but he's running away from the rain. So, yeah.
That's very dynamic. That's very cool. Thank you so much for showing us the user interface.
Sorry, I let that one kind of run for a little bit. No, I think that's really cool. This reminds me so much of Elder Scrolls, but with some different stuff in there. I mean, this is a very neat concept. I really like that idea of how alchemy is going to work and how crafting is going to function, and how it's not just going to be simply just press the button and it creates, you actually have to do it, and you actually have to read the books. Part of me doesn't like that, just because, like I said, I'm lazy and I don't like to read the books and all the pages that we pick up. It's tiring to me. So it's like the quest is read this book. I just click it and then just let the character read it, and we're done. And then go on to the objective marker. Just because, like I said, I'm very, very lazy. But overall, I really think this is going to be a really neat game. Obviously, what we've seen is not a finished product. I think it said February 13th. Yeah, February 13th is the release date for next year. Stay tuned for that. And I'll probably be playing it here on the channel come that time. But that's all I got for you guys this week. I know this has been kind of a weird show. I don't think this has been my best. Wow, man, we run near an hour because of all that. This is not really. This is kind of been. I don't know. I just don't think I've been extremely clear this week or whatever. God damn, I cannot think straight right now. Sorry about that, everyone. Thanks for watching. As I said earlier, Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links to all those are down in the description below. Please feel free to always send me links or any of those if you ever want me to cover something on the weekly show, or this show come Saturday, or if something was from the previous week and I missed it, please send me a link and I will do its own video and talk about it. Anything else? Other than that, check out the variety of other Let's Plays I have going on the channel right now. Yeah, I think that's all. I feel like there was something else, some other announcement, but I can't think of it. So I'll just say one more time, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm AJ Gels, this is the Untitled Gaming Channel. Until next week, guys. I'm out.